Kindred Spirits. I'm your host, Christy Brower, and of course, you are listening live here on Marvelous Monday on 12radio.com. And as always, I am excited to be here with you. I have a lot to share with you today, and looking forward to hearing what you all have to say and sharing what I've got to say. You know, that's just what I love to do here on the radio. So please join me in the chat if you are available. You can get there by going to 12radio.com and clicking on the chat button, and that will bring you right over into our Facebook chat group. If you have joined, then you already know the drill, but if you haven't, simply ask to join, and my producer Scott will let you right in the door. You will see me available in two different ways in that chat room. One is on Facebook Live. I'm actually on Facebook Live on video for the show, and so you can find me there for if you want to watch the show that way, or you can simply listen, and we will be chatting together on the pinned post at the top of the page, which you'll see that Scott put up. It is my banner, and it says, Christy Brower, Kindred Spirits, and you'll see a picture of me on there in my show banner, and that's where we chat. So if you want to ask me a question, if you want to comment on my topic, or if you want to request a reading or a healing for later on in the show, please do it on that banner. That's the best way. The chat rolls up on the video. So over time, I lose your comments, and so I can't come back to them like I can on the regular chat. So I just want you to know that's the best way to get me today is by listening and chatting and watching if you want to. If you're listening in the archives or if you're listening in the replays, this video is still there in the chat room. Or it is also over on my Facebook page, my Facebook fan page, which is Christy A. Brower. So you can find that in either place. You can even find it on the homepage of my website. So there are lots of places to get the video if you want to. I did share a link in the chat room, which is my newsletter. If you don't already receive my weekly newsletter and would like to, you can go to christybrower.com and sign up for that. And it's just a weekly newsletter. I tell you what I'm going to talk about on my show. I kind of give you an idea of what my theme is for the week in general. And then I always have a reading special. So this week, my reading special is, it's a 40-minute time-based session at 12listen.com. And it is meant to be a belief clearing. We're going to talk next week a lot about belief and how belief comes into play with resilience, because resilience is my theme this month here on Kindred Spirits. But I thought it might be kind of fun to preface that with my belief clearing session. So I have been doing belief clearing work with people for a long, long time. And it is a guided imagery interactive process between the two of us, in which we will identify a self-limiting belief, or maybe it's a group of beliefs, something that holds you back, something that you feel like limits your movement forward in your life. A belief that probably originated in your childhood, something that maybe you're starting to become consciously aware of, that is in conflict with your conscious beliefs. So an unconscious belief about yourself and the world that is in conflict with your conscious beliefs about what you choose to believe and how that might get in your way. So you might, believe that you're a failure, or that you don't deserve love, or that you always do everything wrong, or that you have to do everything for everyone else and you can't put yourself first. Those are just a few examples of beliefs that can really hang us up and get in our way. And so I have developed a belief clearing process that I have found to be really, really useful, really, really beneficial and powerful. I've done this with many, many people over the years, and it's kind of amazing, honestly. Not just kind of, it's really amazing what impact it has had on the lives of people that I've done this process with. And so I wanted to share it with you. I have put it on sale at a really steep discount over at 12listen, and it's going to be on sale for 2 weeks, this week and next, because it is a belief clearing, and next week we're going to be talking about belief. But I wanted to share that with you. I'm going to put a link to it in the chat room, so if you are interested, You can pick it up there, or it also came out in my newsletter today. But it's a funny thing, belief, and it really has a huge impact on the choices that we make, on what we allow ourselves to do, ways in which we allow ourselves to grow. We actually really impact our own growth by our beliefs. Sometimes our beliefs really get in the way. And so I have really enjoyed this work and want to continue doing it in helping to release beliefs that, and sometimes you might feel like you have a belief in there that's affecting you, but you don't actually know what it is, and that's okay. I can help you to figure out what the belief is. And beliefs are not separate, really. So usually what happens is we talk about one particular belief that carries us into another, and then another, and then another, and then another, that there are all these different beliefs that are related to one another that are impacting our growth. So we're getting in our own way in some way through belief. So that's just something that I'm really excited to share with you, something that has meant a lot to me to get to do this work with you. So I wanted to kind of kick it off that we're going to talk about belief and how it affects our resilience, how it affects our ability to recover and bounce back from things. And we're going to do that next week on the show. But in the meantime, we're going to have I'm going to have a special on that 40-minute time-based session. So if you're interested in that, you can pick it up by clicking on it in the chat. You can also message me at my website, christybrower.com, if you have questions about it, if you want to know more about it. And I can send you a link from there as well. So there are lots of ways to go about that. Okay, but I want to get to today's topic, because today is not about belief. Today is about energy. Today is about resilience and our energy bodies. How do we develop resilience in our energy bodies? And how does that impact resilience in other areas of our lives? And I think that this is a huge one. I'm sure that you will not be surprised that this is an area that I'm really passionate about, because I am very passionate about energy and about balance and helping people to find balance and helping you to understand your energy body. That's something that really hits home to me as a kinetic empath and aura reader. That's something that means a ton to me in teaching you about how to develop energetic resilience. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to give you an example. If you read my article in the Power Peak this week, you'll know that I've already started to address this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. So I've been hosting talk radio for 6.5 years. I love radio, as you know. I fell in love with radio on the very first show I ever did and said, I'm in this forever, and I am. I was not prepared for how overwhelmed I would feel when connected to the larger audience. I'd been used to, for a long time, working with people one-on-one or in a small group. I had not had the experience of being connected to people on such a larger scale as radio does. And at first I would leave my shows exhausted and feeling drained and feeling like, lots of people plugged their extension cords into me during my show, which truly is a pretty natural response. That's something that we do. When you feel connected to somebody, when you feel like they understand you or they hear you or they're helping in some way, we do tend to make a connection. That's just human nature. But I knew that I couldn't continue with radio if it continued to drain me like that. I was not bouncing back after radio. I was not recovering after radio, particularly when we moved to Blog Talk, from Blog Talk to CBS. And CBS was a very large listenership, much bigger than the one we'd had at Blog Talk. And so I was not prepared for that. And I was just dying after those shows. And so I thought through this, my own work as an aura reader and as an energy healer, and how would I address this with one of my clients? Because it was not that I didn't want my listeners to make a connection to me. It was not that I didn't want that. I didn't want to shut myself off and be like, no, I'm putting up a big wall. That was never the point. So what I discovered is that if I send a big burst of love out, a big burst of positive energy out to people listening to me as I begin radio and I just sort of start this flow of energy that pushes its way out, I make a positive, strong connection to everyone listening, but I don't feel drained afterward. Everybody gets what they need. Everybody comes away from the show feeling fed, myself included, and I don't feel drained or tired. I bounce right back from, doing live radio, doing talk radio can be kind of stressful, and an hour of talking can be kind of physically and emotionally draining. But I don't feel that way after my shows. But that's because I learned that instead of pulling in and pulling away, what I had to do was push out. I had to push my energy out, away from me, and give my audience what they were looking for. Give my audience, all of you, what they needed as I was speaking on the radio. And when I did that, I learned that I could become resilient in that situation. So that is an example of resilience in the energy body that it's taught me a very valuable lesson, because my experience with myself and with other people is that when we feel like something is attacking us or taking from us or pulling from us, our initial reaction is to pull away, is to pull back, or pull our energy in tighter around us. And that I now know that is a mistake, that it's much better and develops resilience within us. We recover from difficult situations much better if we push our energy out, make our bubble larger, send energy out. It's difficult to get in when there's a barrier pushing out back against you, right? When you start pulling in, you're just allowing that energy to get closer and closer and closer to you. Push out. Push out from your heart. That's what I've learned, is that for a lot of us, if we push energy out from our heart chakras, we are able to be much more resilient. We don't get the kinds of attachments or the kind of drain of energy that we might have been experiencing in a particular situation. So that is a skill that I want you to think about. In any situation that is difficult, if you feel like you're in a situation that is draining your energy in some way, don't pull in to protect it. Push it out. Because the bottom line is that energy is limitless. It's not like we're going to run out. So it doesn't matter if you start pushing it out away from you. It's not like at some point you're going to run out of energy. You don't have to hold it in and protect it like there's not going to be enough. It's not true. Push it out away from you. That is a huge revelation to me when it comes to energy and resilience. Okay, so that is where I want to start with that. And then we're going to do a meditation. And when we come back from the meditation, then I want to get to some more skills and some other things that I want to work on when it comes to the resilience in our energy bodies. But the meditation we're going to do today, and sorry, I'm working with too many computers today, let me just say that. So I'm going to have to look away from the video a little bit while I do this meditation. But this is my root crown connection with Gaia and Archangel Zadkiel. One of the things that I know about resilience in the energy body is that we have to have a strong root chakra and a strong crown chakra in order to have a resilient energy body. We need root chakra stability, and root chakra stability creates crown chakra stability. We need those connections to be strong and balanced in order to be resilient. So I want to share that meditation with you, and then we'll get to some other things. So, Scott, if you would just cue up our meditation music. And everybody just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Now call in the goddess Gaia and Archangel Zadkiel. Ask them to come to you and strengthen your root and crown connections. Visualize Gaia as a beautiful ball of red energy pulsing in the center of the earth. Now feel your root chakra at the base of your spine. It is the same beautiful red energy. Send red tendrils of energy out the bottoms of your feet, reaching down to Gaia in the center of the earth. Feel your roots reach down as you feel Gaia reach up, clasping your roots and making a strong connection. And now feel the earth's energy pulsing through you. Feel your body ground and center, and feel your vibration rise. You will notice that your physical energy increases, and you will feel a strong sense of connection flood your soul. Now, reach up from your crown chakra on the top of your head. Reach up to Archangel Zadkiel. Now feel Zadkiel's energy pulsing above you in a ball of sparkling rainbow light. You will feel the energy beam down from that ball of light as you reach up, meeting in the middle and making a strong connection to universal energy. Now your crown chakra will expand and your vibration will rise. And as your vibration comes up, you will see a circle of archangels, goddesses, spirit animals, and guides standing around you. Know that your crown connects you to all of this divine guidance. And take a moment to ask for any guidance on any subject you would like from this group standing around you. So I'm going to give you a moment to do that. Just take a moment to ask a question, anything that you would like to know from that group that are standing in that circle around you. Okay. Now I want you to remember how this connection feels so that you can return to this place in the future. You can return here to feel that sense of connection to that divine guidance system. Now take a moment to thank Archangel Zadkiel and Gaia for their love and protection and their connection. And when you're ready, take 3 deep breaths. And open your eyes. Okay, very good. So that is one really important element of being resilient in your energy body. It's a strong root connection, a strong crown connection. When you're grounded and centered and connected to the energy of the earth, and when you're connected to the divine and receiving your divine guidance and feeling that connection to something bigger than you, you have the energy within you to be resilient. You have the energy within you to get through anything, to recover quickly from anything. You have the internal resources that you need when your energy body is balanced. It's a really powerful thing to know that no matter what happens, everything is going to be okay. And that truly is in huge part to do with the balance of your root chakra. That center of safety, security, and stability. When you have that center within you that says everything is okay, even when things are difficult, even when something is scary or hard, or you're putting a lot of effort into something, or a lot of change is happening, when your root chakra is balanced, you have a strong sense of being okay. And you also have that sense of internal resources that really keep you balanced and keep you in a place of knowing that you've got inside of you what you need to get through anything. That does help us very much to stay in a place of resilience. So I wanted to share that meditation with you today, and I want you to remember that I believe that that one is available for free download on my website. And as always, you can pick those up there, if you want to use it again. Something I love to share with all of you. Okay, so I have so much more to share. Sorry, I have so many windows open on my computer. I'm trying to find the right one to continue with what else I wanted to share. So, let's see. There were several things. There are several different ways that you want to look at resilience in the energy body. One of them is that many of us are empaths. Really, all humans are empaths to some extent. Some of us more sensitive than others. Some of us, it's just more highly developed. But we all have the ability to sense pain in other humans. That is within us. Now, we can choose to ignore it, and some people do, and over time that sense gets dull. But for a lot of us, that is a really acute sense. And that can be something that has a really significant impact on our resilience, when we're constantly feeling not only our own emotions, our own struggles, but everybody else's too. That can be really difficult. So one of the things that I have developed, and we've done this here on the show before, and I have this, and I'll share the download with you, but is the clear your bubble meditation is a huge element to developing resilience, because we need a way to release from us, all of us sensitive little empaths, to release that emotional energy that we pick up from other people, whether you're in a large crowd of people, whether it's family members or friends, or it's coworkers, or it's the grocery store, or whatever. If you feel like you walk away from situations having picked up emotional energy, you need a way to release it. That's part of recovery from all experiences. That's part of resilience and feeling strong, is having clarity inside of yourself. And it's difficult to have clarity when you've got other people's energy tagging along. So the Clear Your Bubble meditation, I'm just going to post a link to my website in the chat, but it's christybrower.com. And of course, the free meditations tab is where you go for these. But the Clear Your Bubble meditation is a really, really important one when it comes to resilience, because you need to drop your baggage. We all do. And there are multiple ways to do that, but one of them is to release anything you're picking up from other people. If you're carrying other people's difficult, painful, low vibrating energy, or even if it isn't difficult or painful or low vibrating, but if it doesn't belong to you, then we have to have a way to release it. That's really, really key. So I just want to share that with you to encourage you to go pick that up. Okay, so a couple of other examples. I was just thinking about some things that I've done over the years that have helped me with resilience. So I used to own a metaphysical store and worked with lots of absolutely wonderful, beautiful people. But every once in a while, somebody would walk in that store and I knew there was some darkness in them. They maybe had some ill intent for me. Maybe they were going to, call me a witch and start spouting Bible verses at me or whatever. That kind of stuff did happen. Or sometimes it was someone who was involved in some kind of dark energy work. There are people out there doing those kinds of things. It's crazy. I know people. I have met people over the years that I was absolutely stunned with the kinds of darkness that they were intentionally bringing into their lives. Well, when you work in a metaphysical store, you're sort of a captive for whoever comes in the door. And sometimes I could just feel the ill intent coming. So one thing, of course, I would do is to push my energy out away from myself, like I told you about that I do on radio. But the other thing that I would do is I would close my door. So in my mind's eye, and I want you to think about this, for most of us, our door is open. It means that when you come into contact with other people, you are open to interaction with them. You're open to energetic interaction with them. So not only are you open to a conversation or a dialogue with them, but there is an energetic exchange that happens with people. You run into a friend in the grocery store, or You have coffee with your mom, your door is open, right? You're open to receiving and to an exchange of energy back and forth. There's all kinds of stuff that happens that is nonverbal communication. So you feel or have a sense of someone else immediately, what kind of day they're having or how they're feeling, or, we all do this. We're reading people's auras all the time. Well, sometimes you need to close the door. If you're not wanting an exchange of energy between two people, I do not mean that you should pull your energy in, right? I've talked about this. That is not a good idea. Don't make your bubble smaller. That's less protection. Push your bubble out and then close the door. Okay, and you can do that in your own head, but close the door so that it is not an open invitation for exchange of energy back and forth. Usually when I did this, a person could feel that sort of disengaging that I would do, and they would usually leave. I didn't do this very often. I've always been somebody that's open to discussion, open to, you want to talk to me about something or ask a question, you want to share your opinion, awesome. But if your intent is simply to harm or scare me or make me uncomfortable, and stuff like that would happen in my store. And so if that was the intent and I could feel it, I would just close the door and disengage, leaving my bubble big so that I did not seem vulnerable, but my door was closed. So use that visual in your own mind's eye. Push your energy out, make a big bubble, and shut the door. And that creates a nice buffer of energy between you and them, and it does not invite an exchange if you feel that that is not a safe situation for you to have. There were a couple in particular customers that we had over the years that would do that kind of thing intentionally. I had one in particular that liked to come and talk to me and try to engage me in conversations that were uncomfortable. And I would regularly tell him that I was not interested, that I didn't want to have anything to do with dark energy, and that I was not interested. This didn't have anything to do with me. I didn't want to talk about it. I wasn't going to debate it with him. I would look him right in the eye and tell him, exactly how I feel about this particular topic. But he would do it anyway. So he was certainly someone that I had to very abruptly close my door with. So I just want you to think about that. Remember that our thoughts control our energy bodies on a very literal plane, much more so than we may realize. And so being aware of that, there are a lot of things that you can do with your thinking that develop resilience and protection in your energy body. So one other thing I wanted to share is that when I was a social worker, I discovered that a lot of my clients were plugging their little extension cords into me, draining my personal power center. So I worked with people who struggled with emotional problems, and they struggled to feel safe and stable. They felt safe and stable with me present, which was a good thing. That's not a bad thing. However, they would plug their little cord into me. They would develop an attachment to me that would take some of my energy because it made them feel better. Well, that was not good for me, and it also wasn't good for them. It's never good to create dependency in another person, and it took from me energy that I needed. And so one of the things that I learned to do early on in my work was to just simply start sending love from my heart whenever I was in their presence. So they would get whatever they needed. It's kind of a smaller version of what I do when I'm on the radio. They would get whatever they needed and feel, at the end of our session, they would feel safer, they would feel more stable, they would feel that they, had some more resources inside of them, but they weren't becoming dependent on me and they weren't taking anything from me. So I would intentionally turn my energy on, and for me it was Reiki at the time because that's what I was trained in. But you can do it with anything, any kind of energy healing modality, or simply just sending love from your heart is okay too. But that sending out what is needed rather than waiting for someone to take it is a much more effective way of being resilient. So if you're a nurse, if you're a social worker or a counselor, or you work in hospice, or you work with people who are in need in any kind of situation, that is an awesome way to give somebody what they need without them having to take it from you. And that changes the dynamic of the energy a great deal. So I want you to think about that. that is something you can learn to do. And I do specialize in mentoring people in human service fields when it comes to energy resilience and energy healing and protection and how to balance those relationships. And so if that's something you're interested in, let me know, because we can do that either through email services, or we can do it on the phone or through time-based sessions over at 12Listen. But that's something that I do specialize in, teaching you skills. And there are more than just these, but this is a good place to start, to protect yourself and be resilient, not be in a position of being burned out in your job, but at the same time finding a way to give people what they need, because they're coming to you for a reason. And so it can be really helpful to give people what they are in need of as you are doing that. So it's really a passion of mine. I've seen some amazing things happen with nurses and counselors and massage therapists that I've trained, that, we're sort of at the brink of, I think I'm going to have to change jobs because this job is killing me, or, it's taking too much from me, and getting to a place of being able to not give all of your own resources away and becoming resilient within your job. And so if that's something that you're struggling with, I want you to reach out to me. You can do that through my 1-question email reading over at 12Listen. You can email me through my website, and I'll tell you how best we can schedule that. Either way is fine, but it's something that I'm really passionate about and would love to work with you more on. Robin says, big energy, closed door. Thank you, Christy. This is very helpful. Yes. Make your energy big first. Don't suck it all in and then close the door, because now they're right on top of you. No, push it out. Let's see. I just wanted to see what you all have to say in the chat, and then we'll get to some few more things. Oh, good. Lynanne likes the meditation, wants to continue using it. Wonderful. Looks like lots of you have questions about readings and balancings. We're definitely going to get to that. Okay, so I'm going to get to a few other things here first. So I have a couple of email readings that I want to share with you. One of the big things, and I've already stated this, but one of the things that is really important for you to know is that one of the things that you have to have in order to have resilient energy body is a stable root chakra. If you have an unstable root, you can do all kinds of awesome work on yourself and still really struggle with resilience. And so that is the key piece that we have to get into place there. So how do you know if you have an unstable root? Let me tell you a little bit about that, and then I'm going to share 2 email readings that I have developed for you to help with this. So how do you know if you have an unstable root chakra? You can have an unstable root chakra simply because you grew up in a situation where there was abuse, where there was neglect, where there was extreme financial need. So you struggled to have food on the table. You lived in a substandard housing type situation. Your basic needs weren't met. Just those things right there will give you an unstable root chakra, even in adulthood. Even if you're stable now, you can still have an unstable root. Some ways to know. Do you always feel like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop? Something bad is always going to happen. You just know it. Do you have a lot of anxiety? Do you have panics? Do you have panic attacks and panic moments where that fight or flight response is set off in your body? Does this happen for no reason, or for a reason that's very small? Do you have very big emotional reactions to small things? These are all good indications that you have an unstable root chakra. You need help to stabilize a root chakra. We can't do that ourselves. There's all kinds of energy work you can do on yourself. There's all kinds of balancing that you can do on yourself. Root chakra stability is not one of them. Root chakra stabilization has to be done by someone like me who understands this concept and gets that root into place. See, what happens with your root chakra is it should sit in the center of your body at the base of your spine. And it runs all the way down your legs to the bottoms of your feet. It's like a pyramid, and it is the foundation of your energy body. If you have an unstable root, your root swings back and forth from side to side. it doesn't stay in place. It shifts back and forth. That's what sets off the fight or flight response inside of your body. That's what sets off the false alarms. You often, somebody with an unstable root chakra, will look back on your behavior or your reaction to something and not understand why you got so upset or so angry or so scared. And you may look back on it and think, man, there's just something wrong with me. I cannot get a hold of myself. And the reality is that it's because your root sets off such a strong sense of fear inside of you that you have this giant reaction to something that probably isn't that big of a reaction, isn't that big of a deal. Now, this can be developed in adulthood as well. If you lived in an abusive relationship for a long time, or if you've experienced extreme poverty, extreme need as an adult, you can develop an unstable root chakra even if you had a stable one as a child. So I want to hit this with all of you because I think it's really, really important, and it's a huge part of resilience. In order to be resilient, you have to feel safe inside of your own body. If you don't feel safe inside yourself, how are you going to recover from all the stuff that happens to you every day, everywhere you go, right? We have to have those resources inside of us that say, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. I can do it. And if you don't have that inside of you, that's what creates long-term instability in your life. So here's what I've done. I'm actually just finishing it right now, but I'm going to post it in the chat here in a minute. I've developed a 2-part email reading. The first part is a root chakra evaluation. Let me just look at your root. You can tell me some stuff about your past if you want to, and what symptoms you're experiencing, but you don't have to. And just let me take a look, and I will tell you what I see, and then I will give you some recommendations. The bottom line is that root chakra stabilization takes time. It's a multi-session type work, but it's short. We can do it on the phone, but we don't have to. What I propose that we do is that we do it by email. So what I have is I have a root chakra evaluation email, and I have a root chakra stabilization email reading. They're both, so they're just, through 12listen.com. If you haven't used 12listen.com before, I will put the links here. The first time you do it, you create an account. And from there, every time you purchase one of these readings, it sends me a message. And it'll send me a message with whatever note you've stated. And then I will respond back to you. I'll do the energy work, and I'll give you, an overview of what I saw and what I did. So what I've got is a root chakra evaluation email reading. And then I have a root chakra stabilization email reading. So the root chakra evaluation is a little bit more in depth. So it's $35. And then the root chakra stabilization is $25. And so what the root chakra stabilization is for our follow-up appointments. So once we've established that you have an unstable root, and I want you to know that if you and I have already worked together and we've established that, and we know that, you don't have to do the evaluation. Just do the stabilization part. So I recommend to most of my clients who struggle with root chakra stability that at first a weekly stabilization is necessary. Now, a lot of times we do that for about 4 weeks, and then we'll start stretching it out further, and we'll see how you do. Because at first we'll stabilize your root and it'll stay in place for a little while, and then it will come out. Something will happen that will knock it out. And what we're looking for is over time, it's staying stable for longer and longer periods of time until you get to a point where we have shifted the pattern in your energy body from an unstable root to a stable root. And once we've shifted that pattern, then you're going to be just like everybody else. We all have an unstable root sometimes based on just the things going on in our lives. But there will be a reason for it in the moment, in like something happening right now, not something that happened to you 20 years ago. So I've developed these 2 email readings for you. The first one is called Root Chakra Evaluation. The second is called Root Chakra Stabilization. So the first one is the evaluation. I will stabilize your root in that session. And then I will do, and then we can do follow-up sessions that are less expensive, and you can do them periodically. If we get your root in and you feel really good for a couple of weeks and then you feel it start to slip, then you do the root chakra stabilization. And we can do all of it by email because it's quicker, it's less expensive, and it's just something that I can do quickly by distance with you. It doesn't take me very long, but it is something that you need somebody like me to do for you if you have an unstable root. So I'm really excited to share this with you. This is something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I've been doing this work for a really long time, but I'm super excited about doing it this way with these 2 emails. So I'm excited to share this with you. So they're both in the chat, but they're also both on my advisor profile page at 12listen. So if you're interested in this, pick up the root chakra evaluation, drop me a note with it, and you'll have an opportunity to do that when you do it. And then from there, we will, I'll say, it would be good to check back with me again in a week, or it'll be good to check back with me in 2 weeks. Or I might say, you let me know when you feel like you need balanced again, and we'll work on it over time. I will always give you some assessment of what's going on with you, and often I will give you, here, this is something you want to do in between our sessions to help you develop this. So there are things that you can do, and some things that you have to let me do, but we can work together as a team, and it will develop your energy, resilience so much to have a stable root, that sense of safety inside of yourself. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. Let's see. So Jane says, interesting you're speaking to root chakra. I have debilitating sciatica from root down both legs into feet. Feels like a knife is being ripped up my legs. I know it's root chakra related, but have spent too much of the last couple of months on my back. Okay, Jane, you're absolutely right that it is root chakra related. So if you want to work with me on this, we'll work together on it through the email readings if you would like. Lynn Ann has the same question about her daughter Chelsea. Lynn Ann, I'd like you to do it through the email readings. Let's do it. Let's get started on her and see if we can get it settled down. Mindy says she's got a similar problem. A lot of us do. One of the most amazing things about the energy body is how infinitely healable it is. Nothing is permanent in the energy body. Everything can be balanced and changed and shifted. Everything can be improved over time. And so this is one of those things that it has such a huge impact on a person's life. I am really, really excited about doing this with you. So if this is something you want to do, we will get there. Tara wants to know why you can't do it yourself. Well, I'll tell you why you can't do it yourself. One of the problems with root chakra instability is that you are not carrying enough life force energy in your body. When your root is unstable, it's not drawing life force energy from the earth the way that it should. And so you don't actually have enough life force energy within you to shift your root into place. There are also some energy healing skills that are specific to root chakra stabilization that unless you're trained in them, you don't know how to do them. And for most of us, working on ourselves at this level is difficult. Even for me, is difficult. And I've been doing this for a very long time. Over time, you will find that you can ground and center yourself and keep your root in place for longer and longer amounts of time. But the initial work and the stabilization itself does need to be done by somebody else. But the grounding and centering and the working on your root can definitely be done by yourself. So it is an effort between the two of us to do this job. And over time, you will find that you will stay in place more and more, longer and longer, and that you can keep your root balanced on your own. So it is something that eventually you will be able to develop to do yourself. But the first while, you need some help to do that. So thank you for that question, Tara, because I think that that's one that a lot of people wonder about. But I appreciate the question. Okay. Oh, Kevin says, this is awesome. We've established my root chakra issues. I can't wait to finally get this focused and worked on. Awesome. Yeah, I thought this might be a really great way to just do it quickly. And you'll always get a message from me, and I will do the work by distance, because of course the work is always by distance with you guys, whether it's by an email or a phone call or the radio. It doesn't really matter. It's always by distance. And so I realized that actually this is a brilliant way to do this. And so I will always, work on giving you feedback and giving you skills that you can work on in between those sessions as well. So I just am excited to share this with you guys. Okay, let's see. A couple more things I want to get to, and then I'll do a couple of readings. So today's topic, of course, is energy resilience. And so I wanted to share my crystal and energy tip of the week related to those. So the crystal that I chose is selenite. And the reason that I chose selenite is because selenite is such a powerful stone in its ability to keep your vibration high. It transmutes low vibrating energy into light. It brings balance to the energy body. It keeps your vibration high. And when our vibrations are high, we are resilient. We recover quickly. We are less shaken by whatever experiences we may have. We are less impacted by stress. We are less impacted by the energy of other people. Our high vibration is a great defense against all kinds of things that we come into contact with. And selenite will help you with that. So selenite is a salt. It's gypsum. It looks like this. You can see it. I'm going to show it to you in the video, and there's a picture of it in the chat also. But this is a selenite blade that I have that I love. I adore selenite. I have a whole bunch of pieces of it. It's a really fun stone. This is a great stone for helping to keep your vibration high. When your vibration is high, you are much more resilient. So just remember that. Anything that brings your vibration up develops resiliency. Anything that brings your vibration down hinders resiliency. So then the other thing today is the energy tip of the week. And that is energy tip number 19. And sorry, I gotta find it so I can post it. I thought I had it right here where I could see it easily, but you know how that goes with technology. So, going to, well, I want to find it quickly. Computer. Energy tip number 19. There we go. Oh, you know what? How funny is that? Let me tell you a funny story about me. I have created 2 energy tips number 19. So one of them should be 20. I didn't know that till just now. I screwed up. Oh well, I will fix that. But here's energy tip number 19, the one I meant to share today. We all need space between our energy bodies and everybody else. So we need that distance. That's why we need to push our energy out. We need some distance so that we have some room inside of us, inside of our energy bodies that is just us. Our thoughts control our energy bodies. We need to resist the urge to lash out when we're angry and plug into somebody else, because that takes away the space between us and everybody else. We need the distance. And it doesn't mean that we become emotionally distant from other people. We don't. But we need a separation where we end and they begin so that we can feel just ourselves. So it's important that we use our words to express how we feel and what we need, but not lash out and form attachments between people, because that connects us up in a way that we cannot escape. That is not very supportive of resilience. So think about how you handle things like that. Okay, Christina says, I wonder if root chakra issues also influence our finances. Of course they do, because that idea of stability comes from having all of our needs met. And if we feel that we don't have all of our needs met, or if there's a worry about being able to pay our bills or support our families, that's going to have impact on the root chakra, right? Also, our root chakra being imbalanced will create those fears inside of us. Do you ever feel like you just worry about money no matter what? Even if you're okay, even if you have enough, you still worry about it all the time? We need to look at your root chakra stability. Mindy says, will your thoughts and projections make your root chakra imbalanced? Well, your thoughts about safety and stability can, yes. So if you think and worry all the time about money, or about safety in some way, it can affect your root. But if you are worrying like that, we need to look at which came first, the chicken or the egg there. Is it the unstable root, or is it the overactive crown? Well, here's a little news flash. Unstable root chakra causes overactive crown, so they reinforce each other. So when you put your root into place, you balance your crown, and that stops the worrying. It also stops the imbalance. So it's powerful stuff. It's also really interesting stuff. It's something that I'm really just jazzed about because it has such a huge impact on our lives to have a stable root. Okay, really quickly, one last thing I want to share with you before I'm going to read a couple questions. I'm not going to get to very many. I do have a class tonight, so I'm returning with my energy intelligence group. Tonight is my first one in January, and this is a Meet Your Spirit Animal class. So this will be a guided imagery meditation to meet your spirit animal. And then we're going to talk a lot about what does it mean to have a spirit animal? What is the point of a spirit animal? What does it represent in your life? How can you use your spirit animal to be supportive of you and helpful in your life? And how do you interpret animals' presence in your life, whether they are in spirit or in real life? You know, if you come across a lot of the same animal multiple times throughout your life, what does that mean? And how can that help you? So we're going to talk about all of that. This is a recorded class. It will also be live on Facebook Live if you want to participate there. Once you've registered, you'll get an email about how that works. You don't have to do it on Facebook Live. It is done just through the phone system through 1-2 Academy, so you can do it however you want. It is recorded, so if you can't attend live, you will get an MP3 of the recorded class. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. You can register I just put a link in the chat. It's also available at 12academy.com or at 12listen.com on my advisor profile page. So I just wanted you to know that I have that coming up tonight. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not going to get to very many readings today. I'm sorry. I appreciate all of you being here and participating. And you'll find me over at 12listen this afternoon. And I hope that you take advantage of the root chakra stabilization. That's going to be a lot of fun. But I did want to get to one thing here, maybe just one. Janelle says, good morning. Christy, if you have a chance, I sure could use a reading and clearing. I'm so confused about life right now. Did I make the wrong move, uproot my whole life for it to fall apart, needing some direction in what to do next? Oh, Janelle, I'm so sorry that it feels that way. I do feel that you made the right move. But I think sometimes we have to realize that when we really want our lives to change, sometimes they really do. So when you say you uprooted your whole life, so I think what you mean is you moved. That sort of made everything else fall apart. It can feel like a terrible thing, but sometimes falling apart is a good thing. There is a way to fall apart in a good way. If things weren't really working for you, if you weren't really happy in your situation and you were ready for some change, sometimes that change can be kind of catastrophic, like everything falls apart, so that you can build it back up again in the way that you want. So I want to encourage you to look at it from that standpoint, that if everything fell apart, it means that it wasn't the right thing for you anymore. Now you have an opportunity to start from scratch and start from the ground up. This is your chance to really look at your life and at all of your situations and get clear about your priorities. What do you really want? Which parts of this matter to you? What are you going to build back up in your life? What are you not going to? What are you going to throw away and not build back into your life? This is your chance to do that. I know it's painful. It's happened to me, and I do understand. It's hard and it's scary. But I do feel like it was in fact the right thing, and that you now have the opportunity to develop a life that is really what you want. You get to choose it all now. So look at it from that standpoint, that every choice that you make, you're choosing everything in your life. I feel like things got a little stagnant for you, and it got to be kind of autopilot, where everything just sort of happened. You didn't necessarily choose it. It wasn't what you wanted. It just sort of happened. Now you can choose every single little thing about your life. So look at it from that standpoint. Reach out to us for some support, most definitely. I would love to work with you deeper on this if you want to. But I appreciate you asking the question. But I just want to send you love and to let you know that you did make the right choice. I feel like by the end of this year, you're going to be amazed at what a good thing all of this turned out to be. So trust that and give yourself some time to adjust to all those big changes, okay? So much love to you, and thank you for being here. Well, guys, I am out of time. I hope to see you in class tonight. That's at 7 p.m. Pacific over at 12 Academy. If you want to register, go over to 12academy.com and you can do that. I will be back with you, of course, on Thursday with the Psychic Sisters. And as always, thanks for listening to 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.